Bugs Bunny. The sheer name alone brings memories from countless people about the rascally rabbit outsmarting the likes of Elmer Fudd and Daffy Duck in the classic Looney Tunes cartoons. His cartoons define modern animation, as Bugs wasn't a kind of character that would beat up his enemies like in other cartoons of the time, such as Tom and Jerry. He would outsmart them and let them do harm to themselves. Along with the other Looney Tunes characters, became household names. His legacy still lives on today, as memorabilia such as video games were made in his name. One such video game is the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle, released in 1989 for the Nintendo Entertainment System by a company named Kemco. Crazy Castle is a puzzle game that focuses on Bugs moving about the castle collecting carrots and avoiding enemies. Such enemies are other Looney Tunes characters such as Sylvester the Cat, Wile E. Coyote, Yosemite Sam, and Daffy Duck. You can outwit such enemies by dropping crates, safes, weights, and buckets on their heads, and using tools such as boxing gloves and invisible ink. You can't jump in this game, which is weird considering he's a rabbit, but I understand why they will make this choice. Jumping would have made this game much too easy to complete, and it would have made other modes of transportation, such as stairs and pipes, pretty redundant, which would suck, because traveling via stairs and pipes is where the real fun is. There is a certain amount of strategy that you have to follow in completing stages, like finding out which direction to go, whether or not to use the items, and luring enemies away from places you need to go. Putting a strategy to use does have varying results, as some results in the completion of this stage, while others result in inescapable dead ends. Folks, this is where the fun factor comes in, creating different strategies to outwit your opponents. There is no greater feeling than leading gullible enemies into a bucket in the face, a safe in the gut, or a 10-ton weight in the head, then collecting the spoils, here being carrots. Of course, some strategies do fail due to poor execution, and in some cases, poor strategy. However, you don't have to worry about getting game overs often. You'll start with 5 lives of course, but you get an extra life each time you complete a stage. If you master this game, which won't take very long at all, you can rack up as many as 30 lives! This game is very long. I've completed as many as 40 stages, but I'm still convinced that I completed less than half the amount of stages in this game. Completing this game in one sitting is a trek in itself, but the trek is made easier, as each stage comes with easy to remember 4-digit passwords. It's impressive that a game like this has that many levels, but there's a problem with this. This game has 3 different types of stages. Brick stages and stone stages, of which both have you traveling via entrances and stairs, and mechanical stages where you travel by a convoluted system of pipes. Therein lies the major flaw of this game: repetition. This game is fun to play, but the fun can only last so long before it turns into boredom, and sometimes frustration. It would have been nice for this game to break the monotony by introducing different types of stages, like those introducing elevators, or warp spots, or even springs. If this is indeed a crazy castle, then it must have crazy things in it, don't you think? I have to say, this is a rather disappointing of a Looney Tunes license. Sure, you can outwit your enemies like Bugs Bunny does, but rare do you ever find a Looney Tunes cartoon where all the characters work together to chase around Bugs Bunny in a castle designed by MC Escher. Compare this to other Bugs Bunny games, where you actually do feel like you're playing as Bugs Bunny. I mean, would you feel any different if you play a game called Mario Crazy Castle? Or Sonic the Hedgehog Crazy Castle? Or Monty Python's Crazy Castle? Actually, a Monty Python Crazy Castle game does sound kind of badass.
And now for something completely different.
Let's take a look at a game called Roger Rabbit for the NES. Actually, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Believe it or not, there was another game called Roger Rabbit released for the NES, or should I say, the Famicom Disk System. It was only released in Japan, so let's take a look at this Japan exclusive, shall we? Something seems familiar. Why does this game look so much like Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle? Oh, that's right, because this game is Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. Why did Kemco, the creators of this game, change the license of this game for release in the States? Well, they originally intended to release this game as is in the US and PAL regions, But there already was a game called Walter Rabbit, or to be specific, Who Framed Walter Rabbit, released in those regions, so it was practically impossible to release a game like this in those regions without fighting some major legal battles. The only way around this was to buy another license of a popular Western icon. In this case, it was Bugs Bunny. I guess this explains the poor use of the license. However, that doesn't explain why there are constant changes of characters in the Crazy Castle series. The Game Boy port of Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle is called Mickey Mouse in Japan. There was some remote consistency in Japan, as Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2 was called Mickey Mouse 2 in Japan. However, all that went to pot when Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 3 for the Game Boy Color was first released as Sorcake or Sorcake? Oh, the hell with it. Let's Go Kid in Japan. Both games are pretty similar, following the ancient treasure meme that the stories present. The only real difference is that Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 3 was released for the Game Boy Color 2 years after Let's Go Kid was released in Japan for the Game Boy in 1997. At least the stars finally aligned when the final two games in the series, Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 4 and Woody Woodpecker Crazy Castle 5, were released universally. Another fact, the reason the last game was called Woody Woodpecker Crazy Castle 5 was because Camco's Looney Tunes license expired by the time this game was made. I'm pretty sure this game would have been called Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 5 if the license was extended. With the interesting yet convoluted story of the Crazy Castle series over with, let's get back to the game at hand before I go too much on a tangent. As stated before, this game is mostly fun because of strategy, but the fun can only last a good while before things get too repetitive. Another problem this game has is that you don't have complete control over bugs. Whenever you fall down, you always walk one block forward. I don't know why Bugs does that, but it's problematic, and this can lead to unintended consequences. Look how close I was in touching that enemy. Here's another weird occurrence. You can walk up the stairs and stop, but if you walk downstairs, you won't stop until you're at the bottom of the stairs. This is annoying, as I can't tell you how many lives I've lost due to this. I don't know why Bugs develops a mind of his own when he goes downstairs, especially if he doesn't if he goes upstairs. To make this game even more inconsistent, when you fall off a ledge onto the stairs, you automatically climb up the stairs until you're at the top. It's these little nuances that ruin an otherwise pretty good game. You can work around them, but that's the problem. You don't have to. The graphics are pretty average for an NES game. They don't stand out exactly. The only stages that actually look good are the mechanical stages, where the creators obviously went hog wild with the designs. Some of those stages do look like works of art. Other than that, this game doesn't amaze me in terms of looks. The music is pretty catchy and nice to listen to, and occasionally urgent. However, this music still becomes just as repetitive as the levels are. I honestly think that Camco could have killed two birds with one stone by introducing more different types of levels as described before, because the music is indeed well done for an NES game. Overall, this game isn't nearly as bad as others say, but that doesn't mean that it's still an absolute joy to play like other NES games. This game is good, but only as an occasional time waster instead of something you spend a weekend playing, as the fun does get old quickly. If you're looking for anything more than just a time waster, then this game probably isn't for you. But if you're looking for just that, then you should try this game, and their sequels out. Let's also hope for a Monty Python Crazy Castle video game in the future. Hey, it could happen.